All right. Now, this is one of those thoughts a lot of women have, but they don't say out loud. What if he's bad in bed, but I actually really like him? Because outside of the bedroom, he's great. He's kind. He shows up. He texts back. He makes plans. You feel emotionally safe with him. But sexually, something's just not clicking, right? And now you're sitting in your head a lot more than you like. And you don't know if you're being shallow or honest. So, let's talk about it properly. If you don't know me, my name is Chris Hodgson. I'm a former adult actor and professional companion, which means I've had a lot of honest conversations with women about sex, attraction, and relationships, especially the ones people feel guilty for even thinking. And this question, it comes up a lot more than people realize. So let's break this down clearly. First of all, yes, this is normal. So let's start here. For thinking this, you're not shallow, you're not broken, and you're definitely not a bad person for caring about sex. Sex isn't everything in a relationship, but when it's not working, it actually affects everything else. Patience changes, affection shifts, and desire is fading quietly. So if this keeps coming up for you, then yes, it definitely matters. Now, attraction is not the same as liking someone. Now, this is important. You can like someone deeply and still not feel turned on by them. You see, attachment is comfort. Attraction is charge. Attachment feels safe. Attraction feels magnetic. And if the magnetic part is weak, you can slowly start feeling like you're dating a friend. And once sexual attraction drops, it's very hard to fake it back. That doesn't mean it can't improve, but it does mean you need to be honest about which one you are feeling. So what does him being bad in bed actually mean? Honestly, most of the time, it's not one dramatic thing. It can look something like this. Maybe he rushes. He's not tuned into your body. He doesn't adjust when you guide him. He's always anxious in his head. He treats sex like a performance. There's no rhythm. There's no build-up. There's no tension. There's no communication. Sometimes I've heard women say, look, he does everything technically right, but I just don't feel anything. And that's the key. You see, sex isn't choreography. It's an energy exchange. You can't fake energy. And sometimes it's not technique at all. It boils down to the connection. Now let's talk about that. Is it technique or is it connection? Now you got to ask yourself honestly here. Do you feel relaxed during sex? Do you feel safe expressing what you like? Do you feel desired? Do you feel like you're managing him? You see, sometimes what's happening isn't bad sex. It's that he simply feels safe, but not sexually leading. Look, he's sweet, he's attentive, he's careful, he could be super attractive, but he doesn't create tension. He doesn't take control. He doesn't hold the moment. And without tension, desire fades. A relationship can slowly shift from passionate into polite. And trust me, polite sex doesn't last. Now let's talk about something else about bad sex that might be on some of your minds. Let's talk about his size. But let's do it in a nice way. We're going to be adults here and talk about this. Most of the time, honestly, size isn't the main issue. But sometimes it is. Listen, sometimes it's too small for you, all right? And that's how it is. Sometimes it's the opposite. It's too big and uncomfortable. Neither of those things make you bad. And neither of those things means he's broken. It just means bodies don't always match. And the hard truth is, that's not something someone can change. So the real question becomes, can this still work for you with communication, adaptation, and effort? Or is everything about the size, no matter how big or small? Now listen, the things you can try if he's open to it. Before making big decisions, there are things worth trying. Now, if he's receptive, slow everything down. Focus more on build-up. Guide him clearly inside the bedroom and outside the bedroom. Try change pacing, positions, dynamics. Remove any performance pressure. Create a safer space for experiments. Honestly, sex often improves when pressure drops. but it only improves if both people are engaged. Now, some of you might think, well, what if he doesn't listen? That's fair. Now, this is the turning point. If you've communicated kindly, guided him, tried more than once, and he still doesn't adjust, then it's no longer about sex. That's about listening. And long term, that turns into resentment, because now you're not just unsatisfied, you feel unheard also. And feeling unheard is far more dangerous than having bad technique. Now, this is where you need to be honest with yourself, okay? If nothing changes, think about it. What does this look like in a year? Do you start avoiding sex? Do you make excuses? Do you fantasize about other people more often? Do you start to notice other men in ways that you didn't before? You see, a small dissatisfaction becomes quiet distance, and quiet distance becomes emotional drift. Most relationships don't explode. They end up just slowly cooling down. Now, could therapy help? Yes, sometimes, especially if it's anxiety is getting in the way. There's shame involved. Communication feels difficult all around. You see, sex therapy isn't about fixing someone. It's about learning how to talk without being defensive. But therapy only works if both people want to be there. Also, look at yourself too. Ask yourself, am I expecting him to read my mind? Am I just protecting his ego at the expense of my needs? Am I disconnecting emotionally instead of guiding him clearly? Sometimes the issue isn't blame. It could be miscommunication on both sides. Now, that doesn't mean it's your fault, but it might mean that you both have some work to do. Now, here's one hard but kind truth. Liking someone isn't always enough, and staying while quietly resenting them isn't fair either, to you or to them. Staying because he's good on paper while your body isn't responding creates long-term damage for both of you. Look, sex doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to feel mutual. I'm going to leave you with this. If you really like him and want to try, absolutely, that's completely valid. If you realize this is a deal breaker, that's also valid too. Now, what is not healthy is ignoring how you feel until resentment builds. Your needs matter. Your body matters. And wanting fulfilling sex doesn't make you shallow or a bad person at all. It makes you honest. Now, these are the conversations that most people don't say out loud, but these conversations matter. Now, if you're someone who wants real clarity about sex, attraction, and relationships, then stick around. On this channel, we're going to keep talking about it. You can like, you can subscribe, you can even turn on your notifications so you know when the next video is available. Until then, I'm Chris Hodgson, and I'll see you next time.